What do we need to know to move into this cosmic education about our new reality? We need a cultural background knowledge that includes the big picture of reality. We need a new cultural background knowledge that replaces the entire old system. Everything must be new. New DNA will only appear when all of the old DNA is gone. DNA holds movies, it holds programs, it holds the illusions of our reality. Whatever we are perceiving around us is created from the DNA within us. If we want to design a new reality, we must have new DNA. We must know the origins of that old DNA. Simply by understanding the Tower of Babel, where the problem came from, the creation of the problem. And we need to go to the zero background knowledge, the level where there was no background knowledge, and see where it came from to realize its incredibility. We need to imagine what that amnesia was like that caused us to form this illusion of reality because we didn't know what reality was. We need people to spread the truth around the globe. We need to create several sets of culture based on a new reality. The versions of reality must become individualized. So there are as many cultures as there are individuals. There are as many truths as there are individuals, because the version of reality comes from an individual's DNA. So a culture began as a group's version of reality, and each group created a completely different set of reality. The outsider could not see the insider's version of reality. Once again, each individual will have their version of reality. The others around them may not see their version of reality because they have their own version of reality. But now our versions of reality will mold together harmoniously because we have this sphere around us, the sphere of reality, and only those things in our consciousness that we permit to enter in will enter in, and only those things in our version of reality that others permit to enter into theirs will. If they do not choose it to enter in their version of reality, it never will. We have this divine right built within us. How did the cultures of the world create a man who did not have the mind of God? They created an illusionary reality through the thinking brain. They created their own linearized concepts of reality. They linearized everything. They made everything into grammar, the subject, the verb, and the object. So they saw themselves and they saw others around them, and then they created these relationships through verbs. So they created relationships through their grammatical systems. And they chose their judgments. They put judgments into the verb. They chose if how the person was in relationship to the other person. And then they created more judgment by creating adjectives of good and bad relationships. So they created all of this reality of these cultures through their language. So we have the total opposition to the original teachings of never use the thinking brain. Before we were in the state of amnesia, we never used our thinking brain. We only used the mind of God. The mind of God was the knowingness. We already knew everything. We already knew what was to be. We knew the allness of what was in God. We knew that we had the ability to manifest instantly any desire because we were one with God. Our higher self had only the mission of giving us our heart's desire. That was the reality. That was the original man. That was the original man that was distorted through many years of invader race lines, invading and messing up the crystalline grids of the earth and creating veils to separate us from who we really were. And then our guardians having to create these veils to keep us from becoming destroyed through frequencies coming in too early to the earth and making it explode. There were many things that broke us off from our original reality, and now it is time to take it back. But most people do not want change. Most people react violently to change. And the reason they act violently to change is because the thinking brain, the neocortex, the judgment loop, does not want change. They do not want, the old DNA doesn't want change. The old DNA, the old program, the old movie wants to keep that old movie playing. And it can't play a new movie until the old DNA is removed. All of those old beliefs that are stored within the neocortex must be dissolved, must be transmuted into light, must be taken into the full spectrum of light energy of the mind of God. And until we see the blue light transforming and creating this new vision of infrared reality, till we break beyond the Hertzian spectrum of reality and move into the infrared and move into the invisible light and move into an entire quantum reality that would now just be the antimatter that we can't see, we can't create a new reality. We must move into the dark room, the antimatter, the new, the when you've developed film, you have the film that is not developed, the negative. So we have to move into that negative, put a new picture on the negative, and let that picture develop in our DNA as our new reality. That's what we're doing now. So first we have to know where the old cultures came from and how they were developed, so we realize that they're worthless. We realize that we want to let them go. We realize it's not what we really want. So it really does require a background in what a culture is and how it was developed and how our cultures have been manipulating us, and how our education system was just a tool of the culture, a tool of the Illuminati. As a matter of fact, in John Gatto's book on Dumbing Us Down, he even showed us that our education system can be traced back to the Prussian education created to make war creatures, to develop children that would be ready for war by age 12. That is the methodology and the purpose of our education system today. Always has been to create children that would be ready for war by age 12. Or children that are ready for war by age 16 or age 21. They're warmongers. It was a warmonger creation mechanism. So we have to decide if we want that anymore. I don't think we do. We need to create an education system that's for the indigo children that want peace and freedom. They do not want a linear education system. They do not want an education system that just plants concepts in their brain of something they know is not true, that forces them to be brainwashed into believing something that they don't believe in. They're going to fight harder and harder than ever because this is just not the present reality. The present reality cannot be forced into minds of a new reality. If we look at the old education system, it was always based on total physical response, the way what the body is programmed to do. We wake up in the morning, we walk to the kitchen, we pour a cup of coffee, we get dressed, we go to work. That is a programming that was placed in our thinking brain. The only reason that we think we need to wake up in the morning, go walk to the kitchen, make our cup of coffee, get dressed for work, and go to work is because it's programmed into our brain. We can unprogram our brain,